Hello and thank you for coming. I'm Gary Kleiman. My website is qigong.com, spelled C-H-I-K-U-N-G. And I want to apologize for all the boring qigong lectures you've ever been to and make up for it. So I've been practicing Tai Chi since 1974. I learned qigong in 1978 and I started to teach qigong in 1983. In 83, I created a workshop where I taught how to circulate energy, and I'll explain what that means, and how to cultivate your will, and how to change the world around you. And it happened all by accident at first. How many people in here, I want to have definitions for what self-confidence is. Who wants to start? And it's not fair if you've heard my tape already. What's self-confidence? You!
I guess recognizing you're being pointed at would be self-confidence.
What's self-confidence?
Believing in yourself.
Believing in yourself? We'll come back.
Knowing your strengths and weaknesses.
All right. Who else?
Going for it even if you don't know the outcome.
Knowing what you want.
Knowing what you want? All right. So what's your definition for self-esteem? Here's the tricky one. Heather.
Loving yourself.
Loving yourself. Happy to be yourself.
Liking who you are.
Liking who you are. And what?
And what you are.
And what you are.
Have a positive image of yourself.
Positive image. Who else?
Self-confidence without ego.
Self-confidence without ego. You're in the wrong lecture. All right, so let me give you my definition since it's my lecture. Self-confidence is your level of performance. Everybody was kind of right with that, but with the next one, self-esteem, everybody was wrong. In my opinion, and since it's my lecture, it's going to be my opinion. So my working definition for self-esteem is your level of deservingness. So if that is true, now, how many books have you read? How many books have you bought here on self-esteem? None of it mattered. That's pretty much the way it is everywhere. So I created my Qigong system, and it's spelled C-H-I-K-U-N-G, in a way that as you practice, you raise your deservingness. And I treat people 5 days a week, all day long. If people come in, they hate their husbands or wives, they hate their job, they hate their bodies, they hate who they are, they have lots of things that they wanted to do and they never did. They're sick all the time, they hate being sick, but underneath all of that, what is the commonality amongst everybody? Deservingness. So you're sick because you don't deserve to be healthy, you're poor because you don't deserve to have prosperity, you're married to a jerk on both sides because it was okay at the time. All that's deservingness related. Now what I've done when I created my Qigong system by accident is connect that to your will. You know, lots of books in here talk about upper chakras and middle chakras, but mine's just right here, 100%. The Chinese system cultivates what's called Dan Tian, where you suck energy in, and you suck more energy in, and you suck more energy in, and you use less than you suck in, so you're always accumulating. So the reason people hate their husbands and wives, and hate their jobs, and hate what they do, and hate working behind the counter, is because they didn't do anything about it. They sort of ended up that way. And when you practice my Qigong system, and you cultivate your energy, and you store it, you become more than you currently are. And you deserve more than you currently have. And you can be happy, and you can be healthy. You can have whatever you want. But the reason people don't have what they want is they don't want it. Or they don't want it bad enough. They might say they want it, but in reality, it's really okay if they don't have it. But when you do the daily practice routine from my Qigong practice, which I teach in the personal power training, that's not a good enough answer anymore. That's why people change so drastically. The changes around me are violent. It's not gradual. It's not easygoing. It's like slamming on the brakes and throwing your car in reverse. And yes, there's a lot of trauma associated. But it's good trauma. Your frustration level goes way up. You think you're frustrated now? Wait, see what happens. But what happens from the frustration going up is action comes out of it. You're sick of it. You're so sick of it, you don't want to go to the job that you hate anymore. You don't want to deal with your spouse anymore. But you got to make space, and you have to create changes internally first. If you're not good for yourself, you're not good for anybody else anyway. So, how do you cultivate vitality? And that's what this all talks. The whole thing I'm talking about is vitality, being alive, sucking energy in and storing it, sucking more energy in and storing it, and eventually you have way more than you ever had before, and you just keep doing it, and it makes you dense. And the practice is short and small. I'm not going to talk about Neigong in here. If you want to see that, go to my website. But I am going to talk about Qigong and personal power training and what everybody came here for, the emotional liposuction. So there will be a line toward the end of my lecture, and I'll tell you all what you have. Anger, bitterness, fear, guilt, rage, anguish, and sorrow. And everybody in here has stuff, unless I treated him in the last week or so. So I'm going to demonstrate condensing breathing. Now, at all the other lectures, you have some little Chinese guy standing in the front of the room, showering you with his energy, which he doesn't have in the first place. And this is all about you cultivating your energy. It's not about me going to blow it into the room. That's ridiculous. It's all about you learning technique that teaches you how to suck energy into your body and store it like a magnet. Like a positive magnet. So you won't be tired anymore, you won't be bitchy anymore, you won't be depressed anymore. You can get a grip on all this. You don't have to be sick, don't have to be achy, but you got to work at it. You can't be 50 years old and expect to feel okay. You got to work at it. You know, at 30, you could pull it off. At 40, some of you could pull it off. At 50, none of you could pull it off. 60? I don't know, I haven't gotten there yet. But so far I'm okay. It's like the guy that jumped off the Empire State Building and at each floor, I'm still okay, I'm still okay, I'm still okay. But if you practice, you'll be able to hold it together longer. A friend of mine called me today and told me he thinks he's going to study Tai Chi with me again. He's 4 years older than me. Because he's been on the internet reading. All the things he's reading sound like me. But he's known me for 35 years. All you got to do is practice. How long does the practice take to work your way through every single day? And I don't tell you to practice every day, because if I tell you to practice every day and you miss a day and you only do 6 days, in the old days, like 20 years ago, people would be so bitchy and disgusted with themselves because they missed a day. It's ridiculous. It's a tool. The days you practice will be way better than the days that you don't practice. There are people in this room that are going to tell you their stories, and a lot of it's going to sound the same because they're practicing the same thing. They do condensed breathing, they do chi circulations, and some of the favorite stuff is the impregnating, the projecting into the universe. You're projecting your energy the way you want it toward what it is that you actually want to happen. Not just being zen-like and letting anything happen to you. You don't drive that way. You have a destination. You got your hands on the steering wheel. Hopefully